Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. Season 5, Episode 10. It's called Past Life. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, we're deep into everyone believing there's a loop, and they basically confirmed it with who Cassius' seer was. And credit to our comments, who actually correctly guessed who it was going to be. It made a lot of sense, actually, once I'd heard the name. Yeah. From a drama point of view, given that Yo-Yo was the one who was like so determined to go and fight him, it actually just made a lot of sense that they would be more dramatically ironic if she's the one who's the person. So we got a creepy Yo-Yo and Yo-Yo scene. Yo to the power of 4, because there's 4 Yo's.
See, I don't know if that's right.
Maybe it's not right, I don't know. It's not really math. I'm just talking complete nonsense anyway. Let's not try and overthink this.
Yeah.
So we got that, and the mission to try and get back and use Flint. What threw me off a little bit is that it was clear that the teams had been in contact in some way. You know, in terms of Mack's team and the Coulson team, because they clearly kind of were expecting Coulson and co, and they kind of knew that Flint was going to do something for them. They seemed to be kind of anticipating their arrival, which is fine. Like, it's not a big deal, but it was just like, oh, okay, right. I wasn't necessarily waiting on that. I did really like the opening scene where the ship arrives. The Zephyr goes into the, it was very quiet and silent, and then Cassius and his men, and the bay door comes down, and they walk in. It's all quiet. They're just looking around, and he sees Sonara just like impaled up in the balcony. It was just a nice eerie opening scene. And then when you see where they're actually on the little drop cube thing that they've been using a lot, you're like, okay, that makes sense. So that works. So yeah, they're cruel bastards because they ended on the liquefying, monolith. Like we got that liquefied at the end, and it just cuts to the logo, and it's like, screw you, S.h.i.e.L.D. How dare you, how dare you assholes.
Pretty much as expected.
My obviously I'm thinking all of our main characters made it back. I don't think like the 3 who are running towards them at the end, I don't think they didn't make it. Like I'm not expecting that to be a plot where they 3 and they have to go back as well.
No, I think it would be somewhat interesting if they didn't, because they either have to find another way back, or that in itself broke the loop.
Yeah, I think they made it though. I feel like I feel like they're done with the future now. I feel like the little post-credit scene with Flint and Tess was kind of a goodbye to this timeline.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because it means even if they do, they break the loop, it becomes an alternate timeline because this still exists for these characters.
You could look at it that way. You could look at it, it's just not changed yet. So this is like, there's hope here, and like she's out of jokes. So here's your blueprint. She has a little globe, and he's like, okay. Even if you did put the Earth back together, I'm not really sure how you refill it with water and everything else that you need for the planet to live.
Space magic,
okay. Because he can do the rocks. He needs a water bender to create water.
That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But that felt like a send-off. It felt like, okay, even if it is an alternate timeline, like, these people have hope. Like, they've been taken away from the Kree, they can get things done now, and there's a little sort of sweet moment here. Actually, I like Coulson's little thing where he's like, hey, I've been where you've been, when he's talking to Tess, because he's not seen her yet when she's been back alive. And he's like, hey, yeah, I kind of died once. You'll be confused for a bit. It's fine.
It's not great, but you'll get through it.
Yeah. More on Coulson dying in a bit. There was some teases with some... he's dying, apparently. He's got like we see his chest. Like, and it's all like black veiny, because future Yo-Yo... we'll just call it that for simplicity, even though you could debate that it's...
Older Yo-Yo.
Older Yo-Yo. Armless Yo-Yo. Like she says that he's dying. And we see like these sort of black veins kind of like in his chest. Like, so it'll be interesting to see how they explore that.
I'm wondering if the deal with Ghost Rider was a bit more personal. It was, okay, Ghost Rider knew he was dying, and, it kept extended him a little bit.
Yeah, possibly.
Alternatively, is he dying because of that? Was that the price?
Yeah,
was that his life? This will kill you.
Yeah, it might be, and it makes me wonder, how do they solve it, or do we actually lose Coulson like at the end of the season? Is that our big like shift to the show where we actually lose someone at that? Because I think going back to season 1, he was the main guy, he was the main character, and it's more of an ensemble, of course. But to lose him would be like a big like, oh no,
it would be a big blow, but the show could go on.
It could, absolutely could. I could totally see like May being the new leader, and you know,
It's at a point with this show that no one's necessarily safe.
yeah. Just in the sense that we're 5 seasons in, like some actors might want to leave soon, so they might find a way to
Yeah,
write them out. And
and I don't think anyone individually is a crutch that the show can't do without.
yeah, yeah, and depending on who it is, like the story potential, like if Fitz or Simmons like get written out and otherwise die, the devastating storyline that's there for the one who's left
Yeah.
would drive an entire like half season or a full season of plot for that character where they're just tormented and alone, and I'd be miserable. I don't want that to happen though, because I would be miserable. It would be
That's the
absolutely
thing. I don't want anyone to die,
soul-destroying.
of course, but I can see it happening. I can see them being dicks and someone going out in the hundredth.
Yeah, I think Coulson, in a lot of ways, Coulson or May make the most sense because they're the older characters, and it's kind of like maybe like a reason for the younger characters to really band together and
So someone to step up.
yeah, be better. Like because Max, I don't know if Max actually the oldest out of the rest after those two, but he definitely feels like the dad. He feels like the yeah. I don't want to call him Mac Daddy for the joke, but I thought of it, so I'm saying it out loud. But like. He seems like the one who like is kind of the dad of the group after Coulson. He's the uncle. He's the fun uncle who shows you chopping mall,
He is absolutely.
and that's okay.
All fun uncles have shotgun axes, right? That's a thing that everyone has.
Question: did we know before that the axe head rotates?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I was like, did we know about this?
As soon as he starts doing it, I'm like, oh my god, I know what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
But I did not know it did that.
I liked how it was basically the Coulson death from Avengers.
It was, yeah.
Right through the chest. It was beautiful. But anyway, so as we go back to like who's made it back. I think we're going to agree that Deke's probably went back with them because he was next to the little monolith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain he's sticking around, especially since he had that sort of weird, I'm going to step up and be a hero. Him and Sky have a bit of
kind
chemistry.
of out of nowhere for that to be the end of it.
Yeah, and I think what that does is it means that when he comes back, when they realise that he's came with them, that it'll be like, okay, so we kind of trust him then. So I guess he's joining because what's he going to do? It's like he's got ID and can go and get a job somewhere. Like
It makes me hope even more that he's someone's descendant.
yeah,
From the group, so we can play with that later.
yeah, that could be good fun. And honestly, like. I'm actually completely okay with him being a love interest for Sky. Because obviously we hated Lincoln. I actually kind of like Deke. I think they are.
Oh, it's definitely much better.
Because see that thing when they're leaving, and she's like, "Oh, it was almost nice to know you." like they're kind of like pretend hatred for each other. It's kind of fun.
He's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but he's good enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's way better than in Lincoln. And
Oh yeah, it's not hard though, is it?
better than Ward in the sense that I like him more as a love interest because it's more fun with them. Even though Ward's stuff was more interesting once he turned out to be evil.
Yeah,
it was
Ward
kinda
as
twisted.
a character is actually much better. Like that's indisputable.
Yeah, but not as a love interest per se.
Not as a love interest.
Not
no.
season 1 Ward. Once he became evil and it had this twisted perversion
It's
to
funny.
it.
Season 1 Ward is like the most boring thing in the show.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, up until episode 17.
Yes,
and then all of a sudden, oh wait a minute.
This guy's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm positive Deke's back with him. What else do we go through? So you have Yo-Yo running to herself, and it was kind of obvious it was going to be her when she was the one who went off to find whoever was woken up, because they kept referencing it. The other thing that kept getting referenced, Cassius kept mentioning, because he basically had the idea in this episode that if he stops them from going back, then they can't stop his father, and back in present day. That's what it sounded like when he was talking about going after them. So, I mean, we were already sort of thinking, we're probably going to see his father in like the second half of the season. Now I'm convinced of it 100%.
I'm just expecting it, yeah. And that's fine. That's not... Again, there's sometimes where people go, oh, but we know that's going to happen now. I'm like, yeah, but that's because it's well written.
Yeah. I'll appreciate it when it happens, and I think what's neat about this season, then, I feel like it's clearly split up with the fact that the first 10 are in space and then, in the future, and then the second half will be back in present day. But so much of what they've set up in this first chunk is important for the second half because, we still have to avoid destroying the world.
That's going to be the goal for the rest of the season is how do we break the loop still? Because as far as we're concerned, they're still in the loop.
Exactly. And that actually begs an interesting question for me because obviously they don't get to full on the world's going to break for a couple of years, and I wonder what is the defining moment that I think we'll get at the end of the season that tells them we broke this?
All right, yeah. No, that's the thing, and I'm worried that could be Coulson dying because of what Armless Yo-Yo said.
I can also see it being Deke disappearing, because technically he'll never.
Because you don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Or something like
that's
that.
True.
They could do that. If we're going to get a dramatic exit with him, it could be at the end, because Back to the Future style, he fades away because now he's never going to exist.
Oh no, that's true.
Assuming it plays by those rules, but
it does, and that would be fun to have it be sad for Sky.
Yeah.
In the sense of if they go down that love interest route and then that happen.
Yeah.
Because they like putting couples together and tearing them apart on this show.
But no, I'm excited about all the possibilities, and yeah, Sky is going to be pissed at Coulson.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want her to stay behind, so I'm kind of on his side. But he does just kind of ignore her choice and puts her to sleep and takes her with him.
But from his perspective, he's the leader. That's kind of his job.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it's because he's the leader. He can argue this is because eventually. Eventually we're going to need you. This is pure father figure. I'm not leaving my daughter behind. That is all I got from that scene. And speaking of, I actually kind of really like the meta honesty of Sky in this scene, where he's like, "Oh, you don't have your powers anymore." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to get them back. It's a matter of time." And I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah. When we need them, we'll find a way."
Yeah, and it felt like almost breaking the fourth wall and saying to the audience, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're going to get there. We know we're all going to do it."
It's like, stop doing it. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. It'll be when we need them for the plot. She doesn't need them right now.
Yeah, but we thought that anyway, but it's just kind of funny for the character to literally say, like, we know I'm going to get them back. It's going to happen. So I thought it was funny. I like that May actually calls that out though and says, she's going to hate you for this. She is never going to forgive you. And I can almost see the scene in my head now where like Yo-Yo reveals that for the loop to possibly be broken, that they have to let Coulson die. They just have to let it happen.
I think it's fascinating because obviously the older Yo-Yo who's telling us lived through this. She already knows that she ignores this advice.
That's the thing. Like that's kind of what makes the break in the loop such a
hard thing to do.
Well, it makes it such a great plot thing because you have these older versions of the characters basically acting like all hope is gone, but you've got the younger ones who still believe hope is. They're still hoping. They still believe it's possible. Yeah. So there's something immensely satisfying about when they do break it, and it's like no, they went above and beyond and did what themselves in the future thought was impossible.
Yeah, it's why I find like Fitz so fascinating right now because he's one of the younger ones that should be the hopeful. He's just like, nah, it's a loop. There's nothing we can do. Screw it.
It's because he's a scientist. It's because he's just looking at it as and obviously he makes a badass trap in this. To the point where Simmons is like, hey, you've been all mainframe, Fitz on me here. You got
that was a bit far.
Yeah, it was the fancy cable that just sort of chopped off like three Kree's heads.
Holy crap, that was amazing.
It was amazing. But what was funny though? So I thought, okay, maybe she's going to start to think he's getting a bit dark, and she's going to have to bring him back to reality. Then later on though, what did she do? Like they did something really else, and like Mack's like, oh, that was dark, Fitz, and that was the fiance's idea.
Oh no, it was Mack was saying, that was one thing, and then you sent the kid out in space with the rocks.
Yeah, that was it. And I thought, no, like that would be a kind of chuckle. And I love how Mack's like, oh yeah, okay, but fiance.
And Fitz is like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't tell you that.
So that was good. It was immensely satisfying having Simmons put the silver beastie thing in Cassius' ear. That was extremely... Because he's beating this shit out of Mack. He just slit Yo-Yo's throat. Which, by the way, can I just say how much we get away with now on network TV with the violence, beheadings, and sure, they cut away...
Yeah.
Sure, they cut away from the throat slit like halfway through, but it's like, nah, I mean, this is way more than what you'd have got.
There's enough there, yeah.
And I like that Mack's just like ready to go down dying. He's just ready to punch his way to death because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then of course Yo-Yo. And you know what's going to come where we get this happy moment at the end where he sees real Yo-Yo, or
That's the thing. We know Yo-Yo has to show up and see Mack in this room because older Yo-Yo knows that Mack is in this room at this time. That's why Cassius shows up.
Yeah.
So the younger one has to show up and see him there, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and of course we get the axe flipping, stabbing, and all that. So no, that was immensely satisfying, and the whole PCP stuff. Sky called it PCP for Kree and Inhumans. Was they had a scary effect to it.
PCP for Kree sells itself, doesn't it?
It kind of does, yeah. What's funny is that one of the main Kree in this is in this week's Flash episode, and he was also in a movie me and Tim just did for streams. He was in the new season of Twin Peaks. I'll just say arm wrestling, and that should tell you who it was.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. He's popped up so much in the last 6 months, all over the place.
Mm.
But I didn't know he was in this. It wasn't until I looked him up when I was looking at his credits, because it was when he was in Hatchet, which Hatchet 3, what me and Tim did, that I looked him up, and then I recognised him in this week's Flash. But when I looked him up, it was like, oh, he's in S.h.i.e.L.D. as a Kree, and then when I was watching this one, I'm like, oh, it's him. It's just him painted blue.
Yeah. It's always it throws you off more than you think, doesn't it?
It does. It honestly does. But he was kicking around in this one. So Flint does his magic rock thing.
Do you know what? I love the music when he's out in space. It reminds me of something very specific, a film, and I can't think what it is. It's been bugging me for the last 40 minutes since I finished watching it.
The music, I'd have to go back and listen to it to maybe give an idea, but
it's a really in my head.
It's a really nice, serene moment.
It is.
And then he starts controlling the rocks and he kills the Kree, and it's it's a nice big bit. Him putting all the rocks together was also pretty cool. I also really like that May was kind of looking forward to meeting him, but as soon as she met him, it's like, oh, so you're going to put send us back home? He's like, yeah, I'm going to try. He's like, we'll get to it then. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's mum face. Mum face is back.
I like May a lot there. She's like, oh, so you're Flint? He's like, yeah, that's me. I got this.
Yeah.
He's like, you better.
Yeah, get on with it then. And walks off to do May things.
She looks so impressed for about half a second, and then immediately he's like, nope, back into May.
That's as long as she can show emotion. She can't show it for too long.
No. She's scared of getting stuck like that.
Exactly. She's worried that the smile will never go away. So that's how that has to be. There's a really cool fight scene early on, actually, where there's a bunch of it's when the first Inhuman with the PCP comes in at the end, and Sky ends up fighting them. But there's a lot of good quick fighting there with the team kind of ambushing them, and
it's pretty solid.
And Sky has a little one-on-one with the PCP guy. Even cracks a little one-liner after she kills him.
She's grown into a proper action hero, isn't she?
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I feel nothing, and then she stabs him and kills him. He's like, did you feel that? Yeah, I'm on board with these ideas. Now, it is worth mentioning, to go back to the Coulson talk, it is worth mentioning that he still probably died in the original loop, because we never saw him in those 2022 flashes. So he still has to die eventually, but it'll be interesting to see how they...
She talks about it's their loyalty to him.
Yeah.
That is the problem. I'm like, okay, what does he do? Does he kind of go off the rails and they go along with it for too long? Was him, him saving Sky here and doing his own thing, your choice be damned, kind of the start of that path? I don't know.
Yeah, I am looking forward to her finding out that it wasn't really her that broke the world, that it was the gravitonium.
Yes, of course, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I feel like that moment's going to be, damn, I almost left myself stranded in the future. because I thought I did this, and not really. But hell, even Deke's like, go back and try not to destroy the world. Like he's originally all for her not going back.
Oh, absolutely. But he's like, no, you're clearly too much of a good person. You're going to do your best.
Nah, so that was good. Obviously, Enoch. Unfortunately, we seem to have lost him, which is a shame, because I've grown to really...
I was enjoying him a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I've grown to really enjoy Enoch. But he does the whole sacrifice thing. He's like, nah, I can power the device. And of course he's dying, and I really like the moment where Fitz is on the walkie-talkie with him, and he's like, hey, I know you've done a lot, but hang on, please, just hang on as long as you can. That was a nice little thing, because he has done so much, and he's literally bodyguarded Fitz's sleeping body for 70 years. Pretty much. Yeah, he's
dedication.
It's above and beyond, really.
It is.
when you really think about it. I did like Kasai's very quickly murdering the doctor, because the doctor's like, yeah, nah, Sonara's dead, I can't bring her back. Oh, really? Balam, you're dead. And then he keeps talking to her like she's talking back to him, and he's proper psychotic.
Yeah, and the other guy's there going, so you got a plan then? And he's like, we're making a plan. It's fine.
Can't you see that we're discussing it? Yeah. It was a proper creepiness. But I did like the idea that his plan was eventually, no, if I stop them and they never go back, then this will never happen. My father will succeed in his plan, whatever it was, and then me and Sonara will be happy together, because we won't be banished to this shithole.
Yeah.
It was basically his thing.
It's a interesting logic. It's like, no, I want this to change. I'm gambling that my situation will be better, essentially.
And I do actually think we might see him again, younger, assuming Kree age much longer than.
Well, I mean, we saw him in 2022, right? Or did we?
No, we didn't. No,
we didn't.
Not when we got those flashes. I think it might be like a surprise reveal, maybe. Like, we'll deal with his father for most of the season, then we'll get towards the end, and then there'll be like one of the cliffhangers will be, oh, my sons have arrived, and like.
I'm assuming they age slow. I don't have anything concrete off the top of my head that says that, but for some reason it's kind of in my mind.
They do definitely age slower, but I just mean, like, do they age slow enough that he could be the same actor in like 2018? Yeah. Like, I don't know about that, but I'm actually thinking we might see him again. I feel like there's too many good dramatic possibilities, especially since our team will know him, but he won't know them yet.
Yeah. Yeah, always a great moment, isn't it, when that sort of stuff happens?
Yeah, I can see them having fun with that. So it's interesting that when we come back. So there's a bit of a dick cliffhanger to leave us on. But when we come back, we're on episode 11, and then episode 12, I believe, is the 100th.
Really?
Yeah. So that'll be interesting, because typically shows like to treat their 100th almost as if they're season finales. Not in the sense that they wrap up plot, just in the sense that big stuff's going to go down. They're going to make sure it's momentous.
And they've been teasing it for about a month already.
Yeah. They've been putting out, when they were shooting it, they had like pictures with cake, and they all seemed happy on set.
I know. I can't remember which one of them who's been saying it, but someone said, be careful. It's like this will break a lot of you.
I'm not looking forward to that part of it. I'm serious though. If Fitzsimmons die, I don't know if I can take it.
That's the thing. It's like I think I can take Coulson dying.
I can take Coulson dying. I'll be sad.
It'll be sad, but I can take it.
I can take May dying. That'll also be sad.
Yeah, honestly, it's Fitzsimmons and S.h.i.e.L.D. who are the ones that would hurt most, I think.
Yeah, they have to survive. They're the future. They have to. Yeah. They have to live. Don't know. To be fair, I think there's already been like set photos from like past episode 100 that confirm like who's alive and not. If you really like go digging for them,
I don't
either. I want to just experience it and see.
Occasionally, I'll stumble onto those things accidentally. I know I did with the crossover for the CW shows.
Yeah. Normally, I don't worry about seeing those things. It's not really that big a deal. But because it's episode 100, and I think they're going to do something big, it does feel almost.
I just don't know what is the concern.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea what the immediate follow-up to this is going to be.
We don't. Below the time passage, it feels natural they might put the wedding in 100. Like, that's how you celebrate 100 episodes. You have Fitz and Simmons.
I'm just thinking, what are we going to do when we actually... Because we've got that the prison guard, where Fitz was, who killed the people.
Yeah, she was working for someone shady.
So we've got that stuff to go on.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a small lone thing, or if it ends up being connected to Daddy Kree. It could be. I don't know. It's hard to say yet. Did we see Lance again back in present day?
I hope so.
Episode 100 would be a good place to shove him back in as well.
Yeah, throw Bobby in there as well.
Yeah, because if it is the wedding, then they need to break cover and come to the wedding, right?
Yeah, they have to.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't know. Exciting possibilities, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with 100 and what they do with the rest of the season. So we've set up a lot of things. We're going to try and break the loop. We're probably going to have this big Kree big bad, so there you go.
Yeah, this was a really good episode.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it topped
like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, the one with the proper first loop stuff.
Yeah,
is probably the best of the season for me so far. But this was solid. Had some good moments. Some eerie stuff, some atmospheric stuff, and some good character beats.
This was a very solid, consistent episode of S.h.i.e.L.D., which is a very good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not stand out by its own standards, but it's above the pack for most TV still.
Yes. No, I was way into it. And like I say, lots of good deaths in this episode. Throat slashings, tripwires, rocks through space windows.
I was a little sad we didn't, because obviously they all got sucked out and then the vent came down, grill. So the disappointing thing is, okay, there's no window now for us to see the bodies floating around outside.
I can't bask in the death.
I did want to see that a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
I can't bask in the death. It is therefore weaker.
Oh yeah, like you didn't want to see the bodies floating out in space.
Yeah, I'm more of a explode the bodies into a pool of goo type of guy than
Hey,
floating
both are
corpses.
great, but if it's they're setting up floating corpses, I want to see the floating frozen corpses.
The Kree head sliding off the neck was way more
That was
my
great. Don't get
was
me
way
wrong.
more my
That was
speed.
better still.
I,
That still would have topped that.
do you know? I love how they probably get away with that particular thing just because they happen to be blue. Like if that was just a regular person, that'd probably be too grim to show on network
It's
TV.
the same thing on like kid shows where for like blood. You can't show blood, but if it's alien blood, so it's blue,
Yeah.
you can get away with it.
Which,
Fine.
which they do in this episode, but I don't think I think they could get away with that blood splatter even if it was red. They just happened to be a Kree, so it was blue. But I think that beheading, they might have had a problem if that was just a regular person, but because it was a blue alien dude, they got away with a lot more maybe.
Yeah, and obviously we have to remember this is on the later time slot now than
That's
it used
true.
to be.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
they're utilizing that more than just the sexy sky shots that they did at the start of last season when they moved.
Yeah, that was really noticeable in that first episode last season.
It was.
And to be fair, they never kept it up. It was like just that first episode.
It was like, hey, look what we can do now, and
Yeah.
then never again.
Never again, yeah. And I'm kind of glad they dropped it because it did feel kind of like, okay, why are we doing these weird sexy sky shots all of a sudden?
Yeah, it was weird.
But
But
yeah.
it's why we can do these head decapitating shots, and I love it.
It is, yeah. I'm down for it. So, I know some people thought this went on a little bit long, but I've really enjoyed the lighthouse plot.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
I Deke using the gun for the first time.
Oh yeah, a bit of political commentary in there. And what I liked about it as well is that when May cracks her political comment, to her it's actually just a political. She's not being like a joke or meta. It's actually no, that's like her making a comment about current day politics.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, these guns are kind of serious. Like, maybe only like really good people should get them or something. It's like, yeah, you think there'd be a law or something. You could just feel the commentary coming through, like not even
it's
disguised.
So cutting, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I like that coming from May as well. Someone who's like so trained in guns and someone who uses them in her job all the time. Like her having that opinion's a bit more interesting.
When he shoots it near Enoch, he's like, "Where's this been all my life?" And he's like, "Level 3, hidden in a vent."
Yeah.
Just like, tells him, he's like, okay, that's not quite what he meant, Enoch.
Yeah.
Don't have to take it quite so literal.
I like that he took it literally, though. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. But no. So that was the arc finale of Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. So we'll find out what happens next when we come back in about a month's time. It's off for the rest of February. We're back early March.
I think because obviously February is 28 days, it is exactly a month.
Is it exactly 4 weeks? That's interesting. That's cool. That makes sense. So let us know what you think of the episode and this arc in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. There's a link in the description. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?